Hey guys, what's going on? My name is TR Comics, and if you're coming over from my other channel, then you probably know me as TR Gaming or TRX Gaming or whatever you know me as. Or you know me as TR Comics on Instagram. I am a digital artist. I am the creator of my webtoon Core Light and Darkness and my soon to becoming mini-series. It used to be called Dragoon, but now it's called The Adventures of Nexus, which I'm working on the second chapter for that right now. But anyways, guys, we today are going to be talking about perspective. So, what is perspective? Perspective is really more like, I don't really know how to describe it. I don't really think of myself as a teacher, so I'm not really good at explaining things, but I just know how it works in my head. But perspective is basically the way things are angled. Like in a movie, you get a certain fight scene from a certain angle and perspective, dynamic angles, cinematography. But as far as being an artist goes, it's like the cinematography of the illustration that you're working on. So the way I do perspective is really from the technique of a Korean artist named Kim Jong-yi. Kim Jong-yi, how he does his perspective for his drawings is that he imagines a tiny camera or like tiny versions of himself carrying around big cameras, and they're capturing the scenes that he draws out in his mind. For me, it's kind of like that, but I more so imagine my drawings animated and the camera moving around in your head. In perspective, that's kind of how it works. So as you'll see on the screen right now, I'm doing a little illustration for you guys. It's probably not going to be super detailed. It's probably going to be like a sketch or whatever of an example of good perspective. Because perspective is my strong suit, so I figured that the first video I would start off with perspective. So if you want something with like good perspective, if you want something that has good perspective to it, think about the way you want the scene to be planned out in your head. Like I do, imagine it animated, or like Kim Jong-gi does, imagine you're moving a camera around in a 3D plane of the, certain scenes that you want, like a fight scene. If you want good perspective with a fight scene, you want dynamic angles, you want stretched proportions, stretched out limbs, and still make it proportionate, but make it proportionate and realistic in the way that it would be portrayed if you were holding like your phone camera in front of your face, but your hand was stretched out. Make the arm in the front bigger, and make everything else in the background just a little bit smaller. Some things are smaller than others. If you want your right arm to be the part of the the part that goes in the front of the camera, then you want to make that the biggest part. Try tilting the drawing a bit, and then draw. You don't have to draw the entire arm, because a realistic thing about perspective, whether it's stylized or not, is you want it to be realistic in that way. So if I'm holding my arm out in front of you right now, you're looking at me, and you're looking down my arm, you're not gonna see every part of my arm. It's gonna be stretched out, and you're not gonna see every part of it. It's harder to explain than it is, but that's why I'm doing the illustration for you guys, so you can see what I'm talking about. And then to show a good sense of depth and distance, you want to make the head not only smaller, but you want it to be angled right, so it can give that illusion of depth and distance, and angled it a certain way. And then your other arm, your legs, depending on where the camera's at, you want them to be smaller, and you don't want them to be as detailed, because another thing about perspective, when something's farther away, it's not as detailed as something that would be closer to you if you were watching an anime or a movie or a Disney animation, or looking at somebody, or something like that. So that's the best way I can describe perspective, at least the way that I do it. These are more so my drawing secrets, I guess. Forgive me guys, this video is probably going to be all over the place, but I hope that the way that I explain this in the illustration that I'm doing on the screen for you guys is helpful to you. And I hope this is a good way to start off things. Also, we're going to go into something else for perspective is line variation. Okay, so what is line variation? So for animation or like illustration, like comics, manga, whatever, webtoon, line variation and how it corresponds and complements perspective. When something has line variation, you want the major focus of something to have thicker lines, or you don't want everything to be the same thickness of line. Now this is a little bit easier for me because this is something that I use a lot in my webtoon. So let's just say, like in this illustration that I'm doing right now, your character's doing a punch towards somebody that they have extreme malice for. The line variation is that hand coming towards the camera would have thicker lines, and as the arm is being stretched out, the lines get thinner and thinner as they go by. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that way for every part of the body that you're drawing, where like everything else has to be thinner. You could have that, and then you could have like a certain side of the face have a certain thickness of line to give that real sense of like action, or just give real emotion and character to not just the drawing itself, but like lines also have character, because lines can tell a story, lines can give off emotion if you're doing it right. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but it makes sense to me. And this is, I hope that it, I'm explaining it to where it can make sense to you guys, and you guys have a sense of what goes through my mind as an artist. So like you'll see here in this illustration, I'm drawing the hand, and when I'm drawing the hand, I have the thickness of the lines for the hand being the front and center, because the hand is technically the focus of it. Like, you're focusing on the whole character, but you're focusing on the action as well. So if a character's punching, you want to focus on that punch, and you don't focus on the aftermath of that punch until after, because the next scene you're drawing like the impact and the result of the character giving that punch and the force behind that punch. But right now you're focused on the action itself, so you're focused on that fist, that arm, and then somewhat you're focused on the face and the lines and the expression. So line variation can also be with like shading as well. It just depends on the artist really, but that's how I personally do that, and that's how I was also taught. Line variation is very important in illustration and animation, so you want that to be top tier, or not necessarily top tier. You want it to be right and look good, because it also can make or break your perspective as well as an artist. Yeah. And with that being said, we're gonna come to a conclusion, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this first video of TR Comics and my talk about perspective and line variation and how they go together. I hope this makes sense for you guys. Like I said, I never thought of myself as a teacher, so this is new for me. Maybe if I do more videos as I go along, and if you guys want to see more of it, then I'll do more of these. Just let me know what you guys want to see down in the illustration. Forgive me, guys. Down in the description or the comment section below, I will leave my links down in the description. So everything from my webtoon to my Instagram, my social media will be down in the description. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more content from me, subscribe. Hit that notification bell and turn on the notification and set it to all notifications, not just some notifications, because YouTube doesn't always give you that option when you first turn on the subscribe button. You got to set it yourself. So help me out. I want to do more stuff like this. And if you guys also want to go see other content I stream on Twitch. I'll leave the link down to my Twitch and my other channel, my gaming channel below, if you guys want to see some of that. So with that being said, guys, I'll see you next time, and keep drawing. Bye.